live from downtown State College.
Welcome into the Landon Tangwall post-game live call-in show. Penn State defeats Villanova 52-6. Let me tell you what. If you had Penn State to cover, I am so sorry, because that was a hell of an ending. And also, if you had the under, you got killed there. So all my gamblers, sorry about that one. Georgia and Tennessee concluding here, looks like should be coming to an end with a chip shot for Tennessee to put that one through. Well, we're good at field goals. There's that. That's a positive, right? We got producer John, Miss Sarah here.
Through the uprights.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, Ryan Barker.
Exquisite kicking.
Let's talk about it for 1 second. I mean, Ryan Barker, look, where'd he go? He went 3 for 3 for a long of 45 yards. I mean, this is big stuff. This is great. Yeah, that catch, I cannot believe that I don't know if I've ever seen a backdoor cover that bad. That was absolutely horrendous. Didn't have any money on the game, but feel for anybody that did. Look, let me put it like this. The way that the Penn State defense dominated the Villanova offense is the same way that the Penn State offense should have dominated the Villanova defense. And it did not happen at all that way. As much as, you know, the score is 52-0, or excuse me, 52-6, obviously with the backups in, but frustrating to say the least to watch that game for many of us. I'll tell you what. We are going to do call-ins. If Steve, you just want to put the producer, Steve, you want to put up the number. Anybody wants to call in 814-400-4188. Let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling. Oh, Drew Allar. I'll say this, like it's frustrating with Drew Allar because you can see how much talent he has with his arm, but then you see some of the mistakes that he makes. Obviously the interception, what should have been an interception right on his last drive there. It hurts. It's just this as much as like it's crazy that we were, like I said, basically 52-0, but 52-6. And you still feel like crap kind of coming away from it. I get it. People are going to want to be positive. Some people are, some people aren't. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Allar, 0 for 5 for 0 yards on third down. I mean, you can't do that versus an FCS opponent. You just can't. It should have been utter domination. Like I said, just the same way that Villanova's offense before we put our backups in was straight up helpless is the way that the Villanova defense should have looked that entire time. So, wait, the field goal was no good in the... You guys are kidding. He missed it?
He looked like somebody who was going to miss it. God help him. His face looked...
Oh, no. Yeah, okay. We got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from? And then our boy dipped off. All right. He was clearly locked in on the Tennessee-Georgia.
Frightened by your booming voice.
Very much. Wow, he shanked. It wasn't really a shank, but he just left it way left.
How far was it?
Oh, no, like not far. Like they were kicking it from like the 25-yard line.
What, Tennessee?
Like yeah. They're going to overtime now. Oh, there was a false start before? I missed all that. Sorry, boys. We were getting ready. Oh, man. Anthony said at least Mike the Mailman will live. This is true. We said Kevin Horn said he was going to choke out Mike the Mailman on the obligatory pregame show if we lost to Villanova. So he's safe. Call in 814-400-4188. Let me know any questions you guys have. But once again, like I said, I mean, the passing game just so rough. I mean, one of those 0 for 5s on third down was kind of a drop there, I believe, I think it was by Pena that kind of hit him in the hands. But, you know, it's not super great. We ran it on 3rd and 6 there towards the end.
Yeah, what was that? Who runs at 3rd and 6?
A questionable call is what that is, Miss Sarah. I don't know. We got a caller here.
Ooh.
What is your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Jay from Atlanta.
What's up, Jay? How you doing, brother?
Good, how are you?
Good. What you got?
Hey, does Drew look like this in practice? Or have you heard reports? I just find it hard to believe that 2 years, going on 3 years now, that this is where he's at. And this is, you look at Bo, I mean, not our quarterback anymore, but also, why bring in an RPO coach if you knew Drew was going to be your quarterback long term?
You know, I appreciate that. And I think you've got a really good point there that I kind of said a little bit, but this offense that Kotelnicki runs does not fit Drew Allar. You're so right about that. It is just that simple. And you see, there's a reason why when we get into the spread offense and it's a 2-minute drill and Drew just slings it around, we are in a great place. And Drew looks borderline elite at times when we're in that type of offense. Think USC 2-minute drill last year. I mean, that's the offense he needs to be in. And so it's like we're putting him almost into a box. Now, not to say that obviously had some really bad throws today, but I think that partially goes into it of him not being in a great rhythm because, like I said, he's not in an offense that fits him. And so that's an issue right there. I think we need to, I don't know if Kotelnicki kind of just needs to tailor it more to him. I mean, obviously, Kotelnicki is our offensive coordinator, and he's going to be this entire year. But we need to have some conversations of, do we just want to sit in the spread and be in a 2x2 formation where we got 2 guys at the top, 2 guys at the bottom of the screen, and then we can run out of that too, and you're running into a 5-6 man box at most, and you are able to spread everybody out. You can get Katron Allen one-on-one with guys. I don't know. I think you got to kind of look at that over the bye week. I mean, you can't, and I've talked about this, you can't just fully just recreate your offense or defense during a bye week. But I mean, there's got to be some conversations there of understanding where is Drew actually good. And that answer is in basically a spread West Coast offense. That's the answer.
Do you think that since this offense is pretty old, do you think they would be, I would think you would be able to change it up a little bit?
I mean, you are what you are, though, with your identity. And that's, like you said, we are a RPO kind of, I don't really know what I
What are we?
I don't really, I don't think.
What are we?
I don't think
like Gordon Ramsay. What are you? Idiot sandwich.
An idiot sandwich. That's what I feel like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and then that too. I mean, I don't know. It's so hard because an FCS opponent, like, you should be able to have your way with them, but we just didn't. Brian says you have a long-term problem because Grunkmeyer is the same style of quarterback. I mean, look, yeah, the quarterbacks we have, like, I want to tell you this: Wisconsin. Oh, sorry, we got a caller. Go ahead. We'll continue to talk. Yes. What is your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Landon. This is Austin from Lincoln, Nebraska.
We got a Lincoln, Nebraska caller. What's up, Austin? What's your question, man?
Yeah, I mean, just watching the past few games and last year, I mean, I've just been feeling like Andy Kotelnicki is trying to run too fancy of an offense. It feels like we're trying to play around with opponents and be explosive when we should just be dominating them in the trenches where we're strong.
Yeah, so what I was even about to say is, like, number one, I hate the play where Drew's at quarterback and he shifts over and we do a direct snap to one of the running backs. I don't know why. It just kind of irks me. And I think it's an automatic signal to everybody on the defense, just crash down in because we're just going to run it. At least if Drew is taking it and holding it on the RPO, everybody has to respect the fact he can pull it and he can just pass it. So I think I don't like that play at all. And yes, we get too cute at times. There, once again, 3rd and 6, and you run the ball basically in the red zone. That makes me really angry. If you, Miss Sarah, John,
you were screaming.
I was screaming. I said I wanted to kick a hole in the wall. That is what I said. And once again,
what I have noticed about you is that finally, I think it's this season you have truly transitioned into being a fan. Now you're just catching up with the rest of us.
I'm all the way in now on my fandom. I'll tell you what. But you're right.
He kicked off his shoes.
Yeah, I did. I took my shoes off and threw them at the wall, kind of. We got to fix those marks, producer John. I don't know what we're gonna do.
It's my cross to bear.
How many beers, real quick, by the way, did you get down today, producer John?
I think I kept it in single digits. I think.
Okay, 8. We'll call it 8 or 9.
Somewhere around there, I start to not be so sure what number I kept it around.
That's a valid point. Yeah, I mean, look, yeah, Grunk, like I said, Grunk is very similar quarterback to Drew. It's that type of offense is not exactly where they fit. So yes, Wisconsin last year in the second half when Bo came in and Drew was hurt, and you saw that crazy, wild RPO offense with a ton of motions, and we ran the ball effectively. And there were some quick passes that Bo hit over the middle. That was, if you want to go back later when you get some time tonight, go watch Wisconsin's second half of 2024. That was Andy Kotelnicki's offense. I'm telling you right now, that's what it was. If we get enough, I don't know, I might go in the archives and grab that game and just break that down at this point and be like, hey, I mean, that doesn't do any good at this point, but I don't know what to do. I don't know where we're at as an offense. And yes, once again, I understand that we blew them out, but it was an FCS opponent that you were just supposed to absolutely demolish, and we really didn't. And really, just talking about the first 3 games as a whole, I expected Ethan Grunkmeyer to get 5 to 6 almost quarters of football, so we see him. We feel comfortable with our backup quarterback if, God forbid, something happens to our starting quarterback. But he barely got to play. I mean, not even 2 full quarters in 3 games where you're playing Nevada, FIU, and Villanova.
That's a problem.
Oh, man.
Because the third-year guy has to get more confidence.
Well, yeah, third-year starter, fourth-year guy.
Yeah. I mean, same difference at this point. I mean, come on now.
I know. Yeah, I'll tell you what. There was, I don't know. Do you think that they have too many players to keep active involved and not enough in the playbooks? Yeah, we got a caller. I'll get to that in 1 second. What is your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Seth, and I'm calling from New Jersey.
What's up, Zach? What's your question?
So my question is, how would you assess how Luke Reynolds and Khalil Dinkins have been playing so far, and what could we expect from them for the rest of the season?
I think they've been playing very well. I think there was after game 1, we didn't get the tight ends too involved, and so there has been a really just concerted effort to get them the football, specifically Luke Reynolds, and I think he's looked great. Obviously, I think one day he can play similar to a Tyler Warren role and looks very good. I don't think anybody can beat Tyler Warren, but can be, and he looks elusive too. I mean, you see Luke Reynolds, kind of shaking guys. So they've been great. Khalil Dinkins has been great in the blocking game, especially even last week. You saw them open things up. So I like where we're at with tight ends. That's really not a problem at all, and especially because we have been throwing underneath and kind of taking the underneath stuff. We've seen the tight ends excel and get some run after catch. So that's been great. I've been excited with that. I think once again, I've never been worried about that tight end room, and I think they're going to continue to be very good. Liquid said, what are the odds we just keeping the playbook limited before the big boys?
Limited?
Guys, I mean, once again, I'm telling you, to a degree, that's kind of a thing, but not really. Like, you play your plays. Is Oregon keeping their playbook limited? I mean, yes, we got another caller. What is your name, and where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Kaz from Stroudsburg, PA.
What's up, brother? What's your name and what's your question? Oh, excuse me. Sorry. What's your question? Sorry. Too many beers.
Yeah. So it's all good, man. So, I mean, looking at this offense, is it possible they can be more explosive, or is it just who they are? I mean, I hate to say this is just who we are, but it just kind of looks like that to me from the untrained eye, that this is just who they are. They're not going to be this explosive, and thus, I hate to say it, we're just not going to beat a team like Oregon or Ohio State until we can just learn to be more explosive with more explosive players. I don't know. I'm sorry. Am I out of range saying that? Or?
No, I mean, look, I agree with you. And for me, you can only judge a team off of what they have put on tape. And now we have 3 games of tape. And I'm going to go home tonight, and I'm going to watch the tape, and I'm going to be up at 5 a.m. as soon as I get the all-22 tape, and I'm going to watch all of it. But like I said, I can only judge you on that. I can't judge you on what I think you're holding back that we're going to see against Oregon. I can't do that. That's not fair to you guys. As if anybody is telling you that it's okay and we're going to be fine, and we might just be fine, and that might be the truth. But if they're just saying that everything that has been put on tape up to this point is okay and we're going to be fine, I don't think that's a fair assessment, and you are being lied to. That's how I feel. If I'm just, like I said, you guys know how I am about my coverage. I am incredibly honest, and I do not sugarcoat things and everything. And this is, if you want to be honest, I feel like we're just completely talking the offense here. I am not talking about the defense. The defense has been lights out. I think Jim Knowles deserves a bunch of credit. I think if you want to talk about someone that's actually holding something back, Jim Knowles' blitz packages. We haven't seen any of that yet. Just wait for that. We're gonna have to get some pressure on Dante Moore. Not next week. We got 2 weeks, but we're gonna have to bring some pressure on him. We're gonna have to see a lot from this defense.
There's a lot of missed tackles though today.
I don't disagree with you. But at the end of the day, I mean, look.
I mean, granted they're better and they're younger than the offensive side of the ball.
But
those missed tackles worried me a little bit. But I think.
All right, we're not going to throw stones here at the defense fully. I agree with you. There's obviously things to fix on both sides, but yes, we got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Pittsburgh. How you doing?
What's up, Mike? Appreciate you calling in. What is your question?
Question is, realistically, between now and Oregon, I think we all recognize there's a number of issues with this offense. Drew Allar being maybe the most visible issue at the moment. What realistically can be fixed between now and then?
Yeah, look, I think you have plays, like I said, and some people are even saying this, hey, can we just treat every drive like we do a 2-minute offense and Drew just turn his brain off and get in the spread and just sling it? And you have, like I said, you go a 2-by-2 formation where no one you spread everybody out. You got 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom of the screen, and you have 1 running back in the backfield, and you let Drew Allar sling it around. Yeah, you might run the ball, you might hand the ball off out of that. But I don't know. I think we almost start to rethink this, especially if the offensive line continues where they're at, because I still feel like not running the ball at will against an FCS opponent is a problem. And I get it. Look, we had 6.3 yards per carry. So there was some great runs. And Katron looked great. I thought Katron looked great.
He did.
Katron's vision, right? I mean,
for how little time he had with the ball.
I mean, yeah, you look at the numbers. Katron?
He had half half the.
Katron had nine carries for 80 yards. Nick had 20 for 85 yards. So, and you look at Katron had 9 yards per carry. Nick had 4.3 yards per carry. So, I think it's clear there that going into Oregon, I think we know where our RB1 lies. And there was a clear emphasis. I mean, you look at the numbers. Katron's got less than half of the carries of Nick. We came into today and said, hey, we're just going to force feed Nick and try to get him confident. And yes, people said, why does a running back in his 4th year need to be confident? Yes, I understand, and I do not disagree with you. That's a problem that we also got to figure out. And I think you start to also, just being fair to everybody else, you got to look at some of the other running backs too and let them get out there, especially if you're looking for that really explosive guy. Katron can break off those bigger runs, but when you're playing against Big Ten opponents, Katron can't take it 65 yards to the house. We love him. We know what he is. He's going to just chug away at you. He's very good at seeing and having that vision and making that second level cut. But is it Quinn Martin? Is it Corey Smith? Is it Cam Wallace? We kind of got to start to look at that a little bit. Like I said, just being fair of where we are at right now. Oh man, what else do we got here? Once again, yeah, I Grunk not coming in at the beginning of the 4th quarter, that kind of hurt. I wanted to see so much more of him. He needs reps. Yes, we got another caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Brian from Virginia.
What's up, Brian? What's your question?
For all the big games James Franklin has played in since coming to Penn State, and with such big expectations this year, what do you think, if anything, will be different this time around going against Oregon in 2 weeks?
Yep. Georgia just walk-off touchdown in overtime. That's crazy. Tennessee, talk about a choke job. James Franklin, once again, I am big off judging you of what you've shown me, not what I think you can do. And where we sit right now, and I think what's hard for everybody is the expectations that we came into the season with. Specifically, once again, the defense was great. The defense has been just fine. They've once, like we talked about it. Yeah, they have some missed tackles here, maybe a couple things where they don't hold contain. But for a first-year defense with Jim Knowles, I think they've looked spectacular. The offense was supposed to be the most balanced offense. We didn't expect them to be as good as the 94 offense. No one is. Greatest offense ever. But that was the expectation. Most balanced offense since 1994. And it hasn't even been close to that. And I think that's part of the problem. Now, you come into Oregon and you come into Ohio State, and before the season, and no, I don't want to say hype train over. Yes, I mean, there probably is. I don't want to call it an overreaction because, once again, I judge you off of what you have shown me. But Oregon, Ohio State, we come in thinking, hey, without a doubt, we have the best quarterback in both of those matchups coming into the season. It doesn't necessarily feel like that is a given now going into both of those matchups. Sands looked great and Moore has looked great too. Both had a couple blimps, but overall looked really, really solid. So that's kind of another issue there. Yeah, we got a new caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Tony, I'm calling from Altoona.
What's up, Tony? What's your question?
Hey, I was just wondering, I think people are wanting to put a lot of this on Drew Allar, and I think he did make some bad decisions today. But I kind of wonder if maybe there's a mismatch between him and the wideouts. I mean, for him to really flourish, the kind of quarterback he is, I think he really needs guys who are real field stretchers, vertical threats, guys who can get a lot of separation. And we really haven't had that in a while at Penn State. I mean, you have to go back to like Parker Washington, Jahan Dotson. I think that Hudson probably can make contested catches. I didn't have a good chance to do that today. I think Pena's an okay possession guy, and Ross, still a little bit uncertain about him. But I kind of think there's a mismatch. I don't think, you look at Oregon, you watch them play. I mean, their receivers are open, against Oklahoma State, 5 to 7 yards. I mean, if Drew Allar had that to work with, his stats would be far better than they are now.
Well,
and I think that's
absolutely. No, I appreciate that question. And look, I think, by the way, I question Altuna's Pizza 110%. I don't know what you guys got going on over there, but we got to get that figured out over there, Tony. We got to figure out Altoona Pizza, brother. I don't know what's going on. But look, I think we knew what we have at wide receivers. Coming into this year, like, it is a clear upgrade. Pena is a great underneath route runner. You see kind of the timing routes there where we're hitting them underneath. Yes, we do not have the playmakers that Oregon gets. We don't have the speed that they get. But I look honestly more at really the play calling to a degree. I mean, look, once again, I think we keep coming back to the fact that this is not an offensive scheme that is advantageous for Drew Allar's skill set. And that I think that is the simple truth of all of this, that we are not putting Drew Allar in the best position to succeed. That's like I said, I don't really know how else to phrase that. I think that's a simple fact. Once again, when you get some free time, not right now, but go back and watch Wisconsin's second half last year, 2024, with Bo. That was Andy Kotelnicki's offense. What we are doing right now is trying to take Andy Kotelnicki's offense, and this is Drew Allar, and you're trying to mold the offense kind of around him. That's kind of the problem, in my opinion. And then on top of that, Drew Allar, you don't see all the confidence in him. You see the some of these missed throws. You see the timing off. Had the interception. Almost had a second one that hit the DB in the hands. So, look, it's hard.
Watching this, what exactly are they trying to mold in Drew Allar? What is it? What are they trying to what is it that they're molding?
It would be the difference is it would be a lot more of basically running from the quarterback. That's what you saw once again. If you watch Bo against Wisconsin last year, there was a lot more of him running. There was much more of a threat of him pulling the ball. And we talked about, hey, Drew might not be trying to pull the ball early in the season and protect himself, but the offense you run is the offense you run. If you're going to run a read call where Drew Allar is reading someone, you can't just not do the read and absolutely hand it off. So something.
Hey, if he would have got a little more separation on that screen pass, that would have been a complete pass.
Look at you, John.
See?
You're so smart. Yes, we got a new caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Mike from Lebanon.
What's up, Mike? What's your question, man?
How much, man? Thank you. Hey, the route tree for these receivers, is it like it just seems like they just run straight and there's a little bit of like cut-ins and outs, but there's not very inventive to me. Is that what you see on the all 22?
Yeah, so it is very simple, and I think that is one place. We talk about not saving the good plays, and it, like I said, that's not a real thing. But there are certain route trees that maybe you kind of keep in the back pocket. But yeah, certain things like just the outside receiver running a go route and the inside receiver, the slot wide receiver, just running a quick out route. Like, we hit that over and over and over. And so Villanova and teams started to kind of pick up on that. And we have certain, we love to get into the boot where Drew kind of fakes it, turns, and you got someone on a crosser, someone underneath, and someone over top. And so, you still have certain, passing schemes. Like, there are just certain passing formations basically that you get in that puts a defense in conflict depending on what type of coverage they are in. So you can add different and little wrinkles, but still there's not like you just hiding this big grand scheme offense that we just haven't seen. Once again, you look at Oregon, you look at Ohio State, they're still running their offense against these teams. And yeah, like I said, there's little things that you may not throw in. We have this certain play where we're trying to hit this deep post route, and hey, we might save that for Oregon. Yes, that might be a thing, but an overall offense, you don't just completely hide that. It doesn't exist. Even Johnny Manziel dominated during
That's kind of true.
I think he only dominated hungover. I think that's it.
Show me the money. That was the original.
Exactly.
Maybe we need to kidnap Drew Allar and get him drunk. Maybe we need to bring him down here to the studio.
Yeah, we might. Yeah.
We need to
let producer John have a
Yeah.
Does producer John and Drew
I can
Allar,
fix him.
Yeah, all right, well, we'll get him down there tonight, and we'll get him down here tonight, and we'll just do that. We got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey man, Charles calling from Texas.
What's up, Charles?
Two quick points here, or questions. I don't understand. I guess is Franklin that stubborn? He doesn't play the guys with the most juice, like Jacoby Howard, Tysier Denmark, because they don't play special teams well, or I guess that's the first question. Second, Franklin said, like in an off-season presser, that essentially by the third year they know what they're getting in the last 1 or 2 years from a player. Essentially talking about like progression. Do you see any progression with Drew between last year and this year?
Yeah, those are great questions. I think number one, yes, there is, and some people hate it. Some people say it's whatever. It does seem like Kobe Howard has done enough to play a lot on offense, but hasn't impressed James Franklin on special teams. And the way that James Franklin has spoken about it, it almost feels like Kobe Howard is not taking special teams seriously. Like I said, I don't know if that is 100% truthful, but the way he's spoken about it is like, hey, we really need him to step up. I think he wants him to maybe be a kickoff returner. I think we know what we have in Ross as a punt returner, but Ross has gone after this year. So I think Franklin sees a lot of value in Kobe Howard, and maybe Kobe Howard isn't taking those return jobs as serious, and there is slight, holding him back because of that. That is a realistic possibility. Now, Kobe Howard is the guy behind Kyron Hudson at the X position. I would like to see him a little bit more. I think you're right. I think he can bring a lot of explosiveness to this offense. Now, speaking about Drew, it's hard to fully judge because it's only been 3 games. But yeah, obviously, if you're just looking at it, obviously, Drew Allar does not look like. Obviously, it doesn't look like he has progressed. I mean, yeah, I think that's simple. You look at, but once again, you see those moments when he threaded the needle to Pena right before halftime, and you say, very few quarterbacks in college football can make that pass. And then you turn and you see some of the mistakes he makes. And it's like, man, if he could just get out of his own way, he could be such a great quarterback. And I think you look at it again, and we talked about on the pregame show, we talked about your brain and sports psychology. And I don't know where the block all the way is. And once again, we're going to look at the tape and we'll check out, as far as it looked for the most part, Villanova was trying to just give them the underneath stuff, but we had our opportunities to take our shots and we obviously did not hit them. So.
What's concerning is that in the first 2 seasons, Allar, it was like the first, 5 games, he was slinging it. Remember West Virginia when they came up here for the whiteout? Yeah. Everybody was like, oh my God, Drew Allar, he's going to kill it.
Well, it wasn't whiteout, but yeah.
Well, same different. I mean, it may as well would have been. But in any case, it seems
Mom, Dad, stop fighting.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
But,
talk to each other like equals.
Yeah. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
So he was great at the beginning. But then when he got to the big games, he would fold like a lawn chair. Notre Dame. But now it seems like it's carried over. His lack of confidence. I just think that's a real concern.
Yeah, so something to think about, that Drew's most complete game that I think this is interesting to talk about. I think USC probably is his best overall game, but his most complete game is West Virginia 2023, week 1, his first ever start. Yeah. So that's it. It is interesting to kind of think about that. Shout out Farzad in the chat. Yes, we got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
I think that's a real concern.
Yeah, so something to think about that.
Hey, how you doing? What is your question?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
Hey, man, I love the show. Hey, I'm just calling to ask Landon about what he thinks about the offense as a whole. I'm not sure if he covered it yet, but
that's all we've been doing, brother.
Yeah, man. Listen, not great stuff. I'll tell you what. For a game that's 52-6, I don't know what to say.
Oh no.
My like I said, a couple of my biggest problems are I still don't feel great about the offensive line. I mean, there were some moments we got a ton of push. I don't know if there was anything today short of just absolutely dominating them that made me feel great about the offensive line, just because, once again, it's an FCS opponent that is really lower level. Running it on 3rd and 6, that's a killer. I don't care if you were trying to set up a short fourth down, which you end up kicking the field goal anyways. That's not a great position to be on. Heverly with the $50 donation. Thank you so much.
Must really like you.
Yeah, Heverly's donated a ton. Definitely top donor. Heverly, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate all your support. Drew Allar obviously had the one interception, the second one that very well should have been an interception. And once again, 0 for 5 on third downs. And that was something that Franklin talked about. That was something that Franklin talked about in his presser and leading up. Hey, we have struggled on third downs. And that continued today, specifically with Drew Allar and the passing offense. One of those 0 for 5s was a drop from Trevor Pena, but still, we got to figure that out. The one that he threw to Khalil Dinkins, where Khalil's foot was out, if he looks over the middle of the field, you got a touchdown to Hudson. You know which one I'm talking about, the over route. And we're going to look at all of this as in the post-game show tomorrow, and on the For the Block YouTube channel on Monday morning. I am going to do a full kind of dress rehearsal of the offense of like, hey, where we are at, what is good, what is bad. We're just going to kind of look at all of it, and I'm going to put it into a nice little pretty box with a bow on it for you guys and show you, hey, where are we headed at into the bye week, and what do we need to fix before Oregon comes. And I don't know if part of that is, like I said, kind of reworking the offense a bit, and it's not like recreating the offense. It's schemes we already have, but do we get into the spread a little bit more and go it's hard for a team to just change their identity, but maybe we look at that. Like I said, that is where Drew looks great, is when we are spread out and he is able to sling it around in a 2-minute drill situation. Charles, thank you so much for the $20. Yeah, if you were in here Monday night, Paxton Lynch, who his name probably hasn't been mentioned in like 5 years at least, it was just getting a heavy comparison to Drew Allar. So I don't know if that's gonna continue to happen here, but yeah, we keep getting the Paxton Lynch comparisons.
Our boy Bry Guy had a question.
What do you have there? Let me look on him.
He asked about shuffling the offensive line, if that would lead to more success.
Look, I think there is something to look at there where, yes, Rucci at times has struggled at right tackle. I feel like Donko hasn't looked great at right guard. Farzad, $50 donation, said he's matching.
Match.
Thank you. Farzad, if you want to follow him on Twitter, great follow. Thank you so much, brother. We've been chopping up about some ideas in the offseason. We got some good stuff.
Hey, Landon, let me ask you this. You played football for Penn State. You've been in a week 1, 2, or 3 where you've played a school like Villanova. Like, how much, without naming names, before a team like Villanova, like, how serious are you as a player? Is there any of that going on?
Yeah.
Just looking for some hope, man.
Thanks, John. I appreciate you asking that question. I mean, yes and no. Like, you come into those games early in this year and you're like, hey, let's get out by halftime. But after, I'll say yes to a degree. You do have that, like, hey, I'm not taking this super serious. We're going to kick these guys' butts and let's get out by the third quarter. But when you have had 2 games like you did against Nevada and FIU, you do not have that mindset coming into today.
By this
Villanova.
point, you'd be serious.
At this point, it is dead serious, and there is no joking around. There is no laughing. Like, you need to be locked in saying, I want to prove something. Because and it's still, that's what it still feels like. Like we don't almost have like a chip on our shoulder that we want to prove something. It still feels like, just like, yeah, we're number 2 in the nation. We're going to have a bye week. We'll get to Oregon soon.
It just feels like they would it's like they can't wait for the game clock to run out.
Yeah.
Offense. It really does.
Can't wait to get out of here, get the champs, Like I said, and like you said, the defense still very happy what we've seen from them. I think Chaz Coleman's going to be great. Shout out a bunch of different guys that I thought really did play well on the defensive side. Villanova was literally helpless. I want to go back to the point again. You saw how truly hopeless that Villanova offense was, where it was like at a point in time they had like 8 passes, they had like 6 passing yards, they couldn't move the ball at all, they were running it on 3rd and long because it was that bad. That is how helpless the Villanova defense should have looked against our offense. And we had back-to-back 3 and outs basically. One of them we got the ball in the 30, so we kicked a field goal, but it was back-to-back 3 and outs. Man, I'll tell you what, Farzad said, how does NIL impact players? Distracted by
with a lot of new toys.
Yeah, a lot of new toys. Look, that was something that we talked about in the pregame show when talking about intrinsic values and extrinsic values of things that on the outside that matter to you, of money and fame and cars, and then intrinsic is that I want to win. I want to be the best player I can be. I want our team to do great. And so it starts, and naturally, this is just sports psychology, when you start to think and get more of those extrinsic things like money and fame, NIL, it starts to matter less to you intrinsically, the game. And so that's why when guys say, you talk to them and you say, when you get to the NFL, it's not fun anymore and it doesn't feel the same anymore. And that's part of the reason why. So I really do think that is a huge point that no one,
Dr. Melfi.
Shout out. Aaron said that Allar needs Dr. Melfi, not a new offensive coordinator.
I would have to second that.
Let me ask you this. They say money can't buy happiness, but it can buy a wave runner.
Oh.
And have you ever seen anybody unhappy on a wave runner? Is Drew Allar up on Lake Collier?
Maybe we need a wave runner.
Jet skiing around like Danny McBride?
We have a caller. Yes. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, Langdon. My name's Chris. I'm calling from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. How you doing, brother?
What's up, Chris? What's your question? Appreciate you calling.
Doing good. First off, real quick, I want to apologize. I don't get a chance to watch your show as much as I'm able to with work and friends and stuff because I appreciate your analysis of the game and stuff, playing for Penn State and your breakdown and stuff. I learn a lot from it, so I just want to say I appreciate you for that.
Appreciate you, brother.
Anyway, yeah, you're welcome. So I've seen the defense so far this season, aside from a few missed tackles and giving up some points in garbage time, almost no notes. Special teams I'm confident with. But as far as making it to the postseason or at least in the regular season, teams like Oregon and Ohio State are the two biggies. What do you think we need to do to fully click cohesively or whatever as a team to make it to the postseason and beyond?
I think the number one thing you have to start with is the offensive line in the ground game needs to dominate, and that is what this team's identity is. That is, and especially if I think we are going to continue because I don't see Andy Kotelnicki just switching up his offense. Like I said, I think a way to go would be say, hey, let's just spread it out. But Andy Kotelnicki's not going to change from his RPO kind of trickery offense to just a West Coast spread offense. It's not going to happen. I'd love if it could because that's where Drew Allar fits. But if you didn't do it over the offseason and that's also just not your identity as a coach, that's not going to happen.
Why do you think they didn't do it?
Because it's like I said, if you're, at the end, and I'm not saying that Andy Kotelnicki, like it was brought up and Andy Kotelnicki said no, but like as an offensive coordinator, you have your identity, you have your schemes, and that is kind of where you stay within. You stay within those boundaries to a degree. So that's why I was saying you mix some of those things in with Drew, but it's still that, RPO trickery kind of just run heavy offense that we've seen. So you got to get the ground game going. And you got to figure out the Nick Singleton situation. If he can't be explosive, I'm sorry, but you got to start to look at some other young guys in the running back room. We know what we have in Katron, but we need that lightning with the thunder because once again, Katron cannot break off those super long runs. You need someone quick like Corey Smith. So I don't know where you start to look. I don't, obviously give Nick some time, let him play against Oregon and stuff. I'm not calling for him to just be like benched, but you got to be fair at a certain point. It is harder too. The other piece of NIL, when you pay someone over $1 million, it's a lot harder to bench them. That is a complete real thing too. Christopher, thank you so much for the $5 donation. He said at least the defense is the real deal. Yes, Jim Knowles is the real deal, and I do think we will see exotic blitzes and cooler coverages. And because if there is someone that has been vanilla, it is Jim Knowles. It is. I would not say it's Andy Kotelnicki all the way. They both have been vanilla to a degree, but much more Jim Knowles hiding things than Andy Kotelnicki hiding things, in my opinion. I think
Andy may as well be Baskin Robbins at this point. 34 flavors.
Every flavor you could get. Let's do it.
Shout out to Kara Dollenbach, who's saying, Landon, my dad is a 1978 grad, and he told me of your work.
Kara, thank you and your dad. He's that is a man that knows ball. I'll tell you what. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys' support. Oh, man. We'll take a couple more calls if you guys got anything. 814-400-4188. Oh, boy.
How many beers we got left?
How many beers? I think we're out of beers, John.
I thought we got some.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Yeah. John, we actually did. We ran through a lot of beers at halftime. John had to go pick up some more. Shout out McClanahan's. Shout out to Arborwell Park.
It was one of those pick up another case of beers sort of games for me.
It was one of those.
Fair.
Yeah. Shout out to Arbor Wealth Partners, by the way, for sponsoring this post-game show. You need to go ahead and get those financials in order. You're trying to pop the question or something, get right.
Hey, as we're waiting on a call, is it being unfair 52-6? Oh, we got one.
Sorry. We got a call. What is your name and where are you calling from?
It's Kyle from Elizabethtown, PA.
What's up, brother? What's your question?
So, sort of related to what you were just saying, is there anything to Franklin being almost too loyal or sticking with people for too long? Because we kind of see that we saw that with letting Bo walk when I think Drew probably should have gone pro. And you're saying give a third running back a try because Nick's not doing it right now. Do you think there's something to that?
Yeah, I mean, look, he is definitely a loyal person, and also at the same time with that, like I said, when you pay someone a lot of money through NIL, you feel beholden to continue to give them more chances. It's kind of the whole 5-star thing, but just magnified a lot more. When you bring in a 5-star, he naturally gets way more chances than a 3-star. Same thing in the NFL. If you're a first-round pick, because of the capital spent on you, you get so many more opportunities than a 5th-round draft pick. That's just how it works. So same thing, and normally you don't deal with this in someone in 3rd or 4th year, because if you're paying someone a lot of money in the 3rd or 4th year, you expect them to be very good, and you don't expect them to get into a slump. But if you do feel beholden to them, number one, because of what they've done, because of what Drew Allar and Nick Singleton have done. You're obviously not going to start to look around and be like, hey, we're going to bench them because you trust them. They've been there. You're paying them a lot of money. So there's multiple factors that go into that. But at the same time, you have to say, hey, look, we got to win games. And this is a business. And if you don't win games, you're in some deep trouble. If you don't get it done against Oregon in 2 weeks, well, it starts to get a little scary when you're going to Iowa, when you're going to Ohio State. You got some problems there of we better win this, because then if you're sitting at 10-2, you probably make it in, even though you don't have a great win necessarily. It'd be Iowa or Indiana would be your best win if you drop 2 of the big games. But you sneak in at 10, 11, or 12, you drop a 3rd one, you're not in. So I think coming to this year was almost a lock Penn State was getting in. And look, it's all still in front of us. That is the good news at the end of the day. And I don't want to be too negative, especially with how 2/3 of this team is playing. Special teams has looked great job with our kicking game. That was something I think can be overlooked. But last year, we didn't know who our kicker was even going to be. Ryan Barker came on the scene, looked awesome. So I think I feel pretty good about all that. It's just, it's hard with the offense to say, how are we going to keep up with Oregon and Ohio State when they look fairly good? I don't know where we're at right now in the Ohio State-Ohio game. But it'd be one thing, once again, if this was just kind of 1 week. I wouldn't say let's not fully overreact. But now we got a sample size of 3 games against 3 crap opponents, and the offense has not looked, I would never tier them as good in any of those 3 games. At least Nevada, the passing game looked efficient, but we really just ran quick routes and took what they gave us and just said boom, 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 and the run game struggled. So, oh man, I'll tell you what, we're a little fired up here today, guys. Real quick, yeah, Aaron said, Landon and crew, thanks for all you do. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Yes, we got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Mike, calling from Lexington, Kentucky.
What's up, Mike? What's your question, man?
Yeah, so, man, I asked you this on Twitter. I didn't get an answer to it.
Oh.
How come it seems like we never have these deep crossers or shallow crossing routes in our route tree? Is that something they're holding back, or is that just something that Drew's missing, or, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, you look today, and it was actually, that was the route that Hudson was on that 3rd down where we threw it to Khalil Dinkins. Hudson was on a deep crosser that was wide open over the middle of the field. So, and sometimes they're there. I remember specifically against Nevada, we had a deep crosser, or maybe that was even FIU, but there was one of the games too. We had a deep crosser to Pena where we just dumped it off underneath and he was open. So they are there. They are there. We run them. Anytime you run that boot action where Drew gets moving, you run what is called a flood concept where you got like 3 guys on one side of the field and you almost always have it underneath. You have a crosser and you have someone running some type of streak. So, I mean, they're there. We just haven't really hit them. And once again, I don't know if that is a lack of confidence. I don't know if it is Drew Allar just not seeing the field all the way correctly. But clear problem. Yes, and I see people in the comments, talking about, hey, Clemson's, losing to Georgia Tech. Well, Clemson clearly is not very good this year.
We've talked about this.
Yeah, I think they're going to lose like 4 or 5 games at this point. So I look like, and that's the other thing too. Like, as much as and Coach Franklin does a good job of bringing you in and showing you the upsets and saying, hey, be happy to where you are, but we want to win. Like the expectation is a national championship. And it's hard when it's just like, oh, just be happy where you're at. Well, no, I want to win a natty.
99% of teams would be happy with where we're at.
That's a great one, Ms. Jackson. Thank you for that one.
I had to throw that in there.
Like I get it. I get being happy with whatever 52-6 win. Once again, an FCS opponent, and all these games we have won handedly. But that's how it should be. It's just, once again, the expectation doesn't match the outcomes that we're getting. And I think that's where the frustration comes from a lot of the fans and from me. So if you're watching this and saying, what the heck, I enjoyed the game and we won by almost 50, this is great. Yeah, I can understand that if that's the idea you want to have. But if you want to win a national championship, then you're not happy right now. And that's where I'm at. My expectation and we talked about this, and maybe, I guess, I don't know, we got a lot of games to play, but it was national championship or bust. And that is why a lot of people, like I said, fans, including me, are having the reaction right now that we're having, because it doesn't look like a national championship offense. And that's where we were almost certain it was going to be, hey, this might be the first year since 2016-17 where the offense carries the defense. For a while here, the defense has been better, especially the Manny Diaz years. And so when it's not like that, and you come out and the offense is struggling their way through these first 3 easy games, well, you start to kind of question things and say, where really are we at? And are we going to be able to get it done against Ohio State and Oregon and everybody else? So,
it kind of shows how much the offense did indeed rely on Tyler Warren.
I think that's a great point.
That's
really good point.
He was the alpha and omega of that offense last year, clearly.
Ms. Jackson, I'm gonna steal that and make sure that's in my post-game show tomorrow. I appreciate that.
I don't know. I think it was more our defensive coordinator and our Tyler Warren coordinator.
Great one, Sean. I think that's a good point, though. It is. I think Tyler Warren could have, last year masked a little bit of what the offense was, of just saying, hey, let's scheme around Tyler Warren. Yes, we got a caller. What is your name and where are you calling in from?
Mike from Harrisburg.
What's up, Mike? What's your question?
Thanks for taking my call. I apologize. I joined your stream a little bit late, but I'm sure my question has to do with a hot button topic here, and that's Drew Allar. My question for you is, do you think that when he struggles, is it more mental or is it his mechanics?
So I think that's a good question. I will say this. I think those go hand in hand, because you fall back on your mechanics when you are in basically survival mode. And that's a lot of times where athletes find themselves of it. You're just reacting and you don't have time to think and react. It is just react. That's when you fall back on your mechanics. And so I think it's kind of a byproduct of each other. If you are overthinking or if you do not feel confident, well, then that chain of mechanics that you rely upon and that normally is good, and all the training that Drew Allar does, you start to doubt a little bit and you fall on bad mechanics. So like I said, I think those kind of build off of each other, where if you're going to game and now you start to doubt yourself and you have one bad ball, you're not confident in your mechanics that you have learned up to that point, because you're just overall doubting yourself. Once again, going back to sports psychology, you have to basically be okay with messing up. And that's why the great ones, Tom Brady, all of them, they understand that those L's, those mistakes come with what it means to be great and what it means to get to that next level. But when you take those L's and you take those mistakes and you harp on them and you are sad about them and you could be frustrated with them to a degree, then your mechanics and your mindset starts to kind of go to crap. So that is, I think, where Drew Allar is finding himself at times, where it's a little too much panic and he's not able to fully trust and rely upon those mechanics that he has learned. So I think that was a great question. I really appreciate that one. That was really, really good. But that's what happens. Like I said, it is when it is that now moment, that response, and you are not fully confident, it's not going to end up well. So that is all right. I'll tell you what, I am sweating in here. Too much beer, a lot of Busch Light, a lot of anti-fragile beer, cheesesteak, I don't know. A lot of different stuff we got going on. We'll take one more caller. Last call. What is your name and where are you calling from?
Steven calling from Philadelphia.
What's up, brother? What's your question?
So 2 questions, slightly different. They obviously honored the 05 team today. What's your favorite player from that team? Second question, what do you think about Kim Spell being on campus today? What does that mean for his recruitment process, especially not going to Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think that was a big get. Him not going to the Notre Dame A&M game, give him props. I'm glad he did not go to that. Seems like he could be locked in. And, hey, when you bring in Adidas and you grab these other deals and we got that new whatever, I think it's an insurance company or something on the field. Like, we're trying to get all the money we can. And I think if we can give a competing offer, Spell doesn't want to leave the state of PA. If we can give him the money that other teams are offering him, he'll probably stay. But if someone else can offer him double, what would you do? That's kind of where I'm at with Spell. Hopefully, I think all these new things can offer the money and the ability for him to stay. Now, what was the other question? Oh, man.
Who was your favorite player on the
05 team? Oh, dude, we had Tamba in here. Tamba was the coolest guy to talk to. And he looks like he'd still be able to just absolutely,
Isn't
if
he
he
like
wanted
a
to.
martial arts?
Yeah, he does a lot of jiu-jitsu, does so much cool stuff in the community. I have to go with Tamba. He is just a man. It looks like he could still snap anybody in half and still rush the passer if he wanted to. But there's some great ones. We've had Deion Butler on a lot. Love Deion and everything that he's doing. Obviously, D. Will is an all-time favorite there.
Lesney,
Plus, yeah, absolutely. He was a great one. So yeah, and it's not pronounced. I keep wanting to say Amica. It's I don't know. That's the new field sponsor that we have. I don't know.
We have another field sponsor.
Well, they're like in like the back of the end zone, like behind it, basically.
The Amica end zone on West Shore Field Home at Beaver Stadium in Penn State University.
Yes, it
at
is.
State College, Pennsylvania, at Latitude X Longitude.
Shout out West Shore Home, sponsor of the show. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be live tomorrow morning with Keith Goon Conlon at the Student Bookstore, 10 a.m. If you are looking for groundbreaking analysis, we do not do that there. Goon and I basically sit there and kind of just shoot the bull and have a good time. So if you wanna swing by, listen to that. We do have a really good time. It is pretty hilarious. But then I will have the post-game show out for you guys, normally around 3 p.m., where we're just gonna dive into this thing. I'm gonna be able to watch the tape. I'm gonna be able to tell you exactly what happened. So I'll go back. I'll work my butt off on all that. You guys enjoy these night games. Enjoy A&M, Notre Dame, all that good stuff. Once again, I really appreciate you guys always tuning in. I would not be able to do all of this that I do without you guys. It really means the world to me. I am really excited for this bye week. Got some cool stuff coming up for you guys. I want to make sure that you still get all the content that you need. But, oh, man, will the stream start around 6 or 7 o'clock? Oh, I get what he's saying, a little 6, 7. But we got cool stuff. So we got Goon tomorrow, 10 a.m. We got the post-game show, that, like I said, around 3 p.m. And then Monday, we got the Franklin press conference.
Oh.
You got to take a shot.
He was trying to get out of it.
He was trying to get away with it. We all forgot.
Oh, my God. All right. I
Almost
really was.
Made it, buddy.
I really listen.
It's
Who
like
was
getting,
that? Wait, go back.
It was
Brandy Taylor.
Yo,
Brandy Taylor. We got beef. I'm gonna be.
She's like a Canadian Mountie who caught you crossing the border. You were like right there, and she's like, "Passport, please."
I was literally. Oh, I can't believe this right now. All right, Sarah. I guess we're just gonna take a swig. We don't even have shot glasses in here right now, so here we go. You want to come into the you want to just come over here in the frame. I don't even know how we're gonna. I'll pour you a little shot.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pour you a little shot in here. I'm just gonna take a swig out of it.
Is this indicative of the planning that went into the Villanova game?
Is that?
Yes.
Is this about how it went?
That's.
I think.
You want to like run it or pass it? Or,
I
don't know. You want to come over here? I don't know. You stand over there. Who cares?
All right, Miss Sarah, this is for you. You want to come in? You gotta come into the frame so we can just do it together. You can talk into this mic. Just come over my shoulder right here. All right, here.
I think it's because you said you were sweating and is this a scent-based issue?
I already have to deal.
We're just going to take a swig. JP409, Brandy, I'm going to get you for that one, but I appreciate it. You got to keep us honest. Until tomorrow morning, JP409 going down the hatch. Nonetheless, 1-0. Cheers.
I needed that after watching all that.
I love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you tomorrow morning. Peace.